Join me. We are going to be talking about this four-gamer. It is a very uninspiring slate, which means we get to get creative, which is kind of fun, but also it's a weird one. You got something to look out for with Paul George tonight. I hear a lot of speculation that he'll sit tonight and then tomorrow, and that Kawhi will play tonight. It's a lot of speculation. It really, as of right now, on a nationally televised game, I'm going to assume that George plays, but I think there's a lot of people out there, and you're totally screwed if you're wrong on this, because let's say you're just playing Paul George from that game, you're not going to have any chance to switch over to anybody of any relevance at all. Like, you're going to be eating 1,800 or plus. So if Paul George does sit, you're in real trouble if you play him. Just giving that out there. Sheets, what's going on, man?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Just that Paul George is questionable, and there's a lot of speculation that he sits tonight.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but it's the same as it was this morning. I personally think
he was in danger of sitting this morning. Okay,
he's in danger of sitting every time his name is on the sheet.
Oh,
same with Kawhi, obviously, but he's questionable, and my guess is they let them both play tonight. That's my personal take, but it's a nationally televised game. It would make sense that they would play them both tonight, and I think that's what they're going to do. Tomorrow they play in Minnesota, a little bit more manageable if one of them sits than playing in Denver, but still a tough ask either way. So that's a really big piece of things, though. But like I'm going to just take the risk, and it sucks because if it doesn't happen, then I'm literally eating 1,800 and playing Jamal Murray.
Jalen Suggs will have a minutes limit. Hold on. Magic starters. Okay. Jokic. Deshaun Tate is back, but with a minutes restriction. That's what's affecting the Martin projection.
No, Eric Gordon playing is what's affecting the Martin.
Oh, Eric Gordon's playing. Oh, I knew something was affecting it. Okay.
Yeah. So I actually have Eric Gordon in some lineups because I need the savings.
Okay.
He was expected to be out earlier today on the back-to-back, but he's as of right now playing. It is a little bit more messy with Deshaun Tate. All of those guys are very fringy now. Tate, Martin's still probably the best of them, but Eason, it's a mess. It's an ugly slate. There's not any other way to put it. I think that what we can do is try to find things to get different in, and like I like the Houston Utah game stack. I think there are rarely nights that I play Markkanen at this price, but I would definitely do that tonight. I think it's a really strong play that I'm guessing is not going to have overwhelming ownership. Looking to be around the 10% range. That's good. I'm
trying to think of some other way to handle Paul George. You say there's nobody to swap to. If you could set up a 2x2.
Yeah, but I'm not doing that.
Oh, okay.
I just the way my builds are going. I mean,
I haven't built any.
And your 2x2 is not going to work either. Like,
no, okay.
Try to do it like with Porter or Murray. You don't want to do it with Jokic because then you're still eating the money. But then what are you upgrading to elsewhere? So I don't see a relevant 2v2. George and Zubac would be the closest to one that I think makes some sense. But then you have to play Porter and Murray together or something like that.
One thing I will say is that overall the value on the slate, to use an analytical term, really blows.
Yeah, it's really bad. 100%. So the guys I'm overweight on now because I don't see the need to go, I don't know what else we can do, but like I'm overweight. I'll just go through my ownerships right now. 47% Luka, 47% Cole Anthony. That's going to be probably a lot lower. John Concher, 47%. Robert Williams, 40%.
What?
Reggie Bullock, 40%. KJ Martin, 30%, but it's going to be probably a little lower. Dinwiddie I've got a lot of, but that's probably going to turn more into some other Marcus Smart things. So I'll probably have like 20% of him. Eric Gordon, I've got 15%. Jalen Green, I've got 45%. Conley, I've got 40%. Markkanen, 20%. Steven Adams, 30%. Jabari Smith, 40%. Şengün, 30%. Paul George, 40%. Those are my most owned players right there.
Yeah.
It's not a pretty slate.
No. Did you talk about tell me about this Conchar play?
Every time, Desmond Bane's out, he plays minutes.
Because Bane is out. Okay. What do you think of the same game? What do you think of Jaren Jackson? Anything?
Yeah, but I'm not playing him much. I don't think you want to play Jaren Jackson with Steven Adams.
You don't want to play Jaren. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Şengün.
We're both in good spots. I mean, go ahead. Sorry, shoots.
What do you like more, like Şengün or maybe Wendell Carter?
Şengün. Okay. But they're different prices a little bit. Like I wouldn't eat 600 and play him, but I would play him anyway. Santi Aldama is the other value guy that I think I might switch over some of my ownership of the Houston guys too. Just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Aldama, there's no Brandon Clark. Back-to-back for Adams and Jackson, obviously. Aldama only played 20 minutes last night, but he's a fringy value guy I'm looking at. A little more effective than Eric Gordon per minute, but like all these guys who you don't want to play normally on real big slates, like Bullock and Eric Gordon, they're all the guys that you kind of need to fill out some lineups today if you want to play Luka. And I on FanDuel, like I'm playing Luka and Jokic together. And on DraftKings, I think you try to play Luka if you can.
What were you saying about Aldama?
Just it's back to back, and he's going to get some minutes. That's nothing overly special. Xavier Tillman would also fit into that mold. David Roddy would be another guy you could consider. All of those guys are interesting a little bit. The guy who I'm not playing, who everyone's on, and if it beats me, that's fine, is Dylan Brooks. I am playing him in my FanDuel lineup, but I don't have any of them on DraftKings, and I think he's going to be Brooks. We saw him without, that's the thing with Dylan Brooks. Everybody, wants to jump on these plays, but we just saw him without Bane for a month, and he hit 30 twice. So it's not like there's a lock of locks with Brooks. If you're playing cash, I would play him, but I'm not playing him for tournaments. Unless I've got his ownership wrong. Let me just double check. I don't think I do. He is projecting a little worse than I would have thought, but he's still projected to be about 40% owned according to SaberSim. You've got him lower a little bit, but I think
34
probably needs to be. Yeah, probably. Yeah. I do think Ja is going to be one of the lower owned superstars. What I'm doing though is I'm in my DraftKings, one of my big ones. I'm playing Tatum and Luka, and sort of going with the narrative that I was talking about earlier. And I think that's actually really viable. But you get a game stack in there with Bullock and Robert Williams, and all of a sudden you get the value to help get them in, who also contribute to the game stack. So I kind of like doing that. What's up to MJ and chat, guys? Say what's up and let us know if you have any thoughts or any questions. I'm happy to answer them. It's a very, very fringy slate, which means there really can't be anything that bad that we do because you're going to want to try to find some ways to get different. So the Magic, I don't think you need to play anybody from the Magic, but the guys who I would play would be Cole Anthony, Carter on FanDuel more than DraftKings, but he's fine on DraftKings as well. I probably will throw Gary Harris into a couple lineups because they play him minutes. And the only problem is with Suggs back and you still have all the bench guys, it just gets a little bit more mucked up. I think you could make a good argument for Mo Bamba, but I like Robert Williams a little bit better. And for me personally, it's Impalo is always fine, but I'm not like prioritizing the Magic anymore.
Who are your favorite Utah guys, if any?
Conley, Vanderbilt, Beasley, Olynyk, Clarkson. I like all of them, and Markkanen. Markkanen is more of a. I'll do the weird where he's my highest spend play, which is going to be an unusual build. So it's more of a game theory reason why I like him. I do like Vanderbilt here, and I think one of Vanderbilt or Olynyk is certainly a guy, or certainly guys you could prioritize. I just went through every one of my own players, so happy to do it again. But I literally just said everybody in their ownership. I mean, and it's all going to change because I haven't finished whittling my lineups, but Luka will be in half my lineups. Contra will be in like 40% of my lineups. Tatum will be in like 40%.
This is a weird guy to show up in my projections. Is Tyus Jones?
That's not weird. That makes sense.
I mean, I usually only see him when Morant's out.
He's 4,300. It's a small slate, and they're starved for value.
Okay.
Is Jokic worth spending up tonight? Well, yeah, he's a good play, but I would much prefer playing Luka. I'm pretty sure Sheets is going to agree with that one.
Yeah.
J.Y. Williams, he didn't fuck you. Like it's not his fault that his ankle turned. It's not his fault his ankle turned in the second quarter. Like,
What's going on?
You can't worry about injury, guys. And also we also have the rule: no right to complain about anyone from OKC ever or San Antonio. Those are the two teams we cannot complain about anybody.
No, you're not allowed.
Unless like Shea plays like 20 minutes and seems healthy or something, then you could complain. But everything else is pretty much no complaining about J.A.Y. Williams. But I do like that way of putting it, Y. Williams. I don't know. We still have to come up with a better one. I feel like we haven't hit it yet, but we will find a way to do it. Yeah, this slate is like stressing me in a way that I don't feel like a 4-game slate should stress me out. But
you like Christian Wood at all?
It's fine. I think he's all right. Like, a little surprised by the projection on Dinwiddie, but I like that game stack, so I didn't mind getting a little Dinwiddie in there, but a little surprised that he's projecting quite as well as he is. All right. The guys who I really like, and I just want to be. I'm annoyed that Jabari Smith is going to be popular tonight because I'm so used to playing him at no ownership, and he's coming off of one of his better games. So I'm a little bit like, feels like if it was a big slate, feels like it would be a stay away, but with a small slate, kind of hard not to take the value. The team that I have the most ownership of is probably that's kind of a weird one. Well, I told you I'm gonna go with it with the Dallas stack. So the Dallas and Boston game stack. So and then I like the Houston and Utah game stack is my next favorite. So those are the teams I have the most ownership from. But it's not like I have like one team. It's not like there's one team that goes, oh, you have to play 10 guys or whatever. You have to mix in all these guys from one team or anything like that today. Is there a team that you seem overweight on, Sheets, or any players that you're overweight on that you think?
Which game?
Well, it was just asking who was the team that had the most owner. We have the most ownership.
I mean, I'm kind of spread out. I haven't done my MME build. I'm just working on my big stuff right now. I'm this. I'd love to stack this Utah game.
Yeah, I think that's really reasonable. The problem is like just the Utah points spread around so much.
Right. Well,
but I agree with you. That's what I wanted to do too. Really like Walker Kessler for large field stuff because he's going to be 0% owned. But he's not in any of my big buy-in builds. But yeah, it is not like I am leaning a little bit more the stacking way. If I'm going to play Luka, I want to run it back with either. Well, Robert Williams is the cheap one, but Smart, Jason Tatum. I really like the idea of Tatum and Luka tonight, so that is going to be in one of my two big lineups. MJ, I hear you, buddy. It does feel wrong when we're playing Eric Gordon, especially on a back-to-back. I think what you can do to get a little bit off of that is play a little bit of Aldama instead. So if you want to change one of those three, I think that Aldama certainly is fitting as a pivot off of Eric Gordon. But it's not like anybody's playing Eric Gordon, I don't think. Even with the projection and even with the price and everything starting at 3,500, I just don't think that many people are playing him. Look, give me 20. You know what I mean? I'll take it.
Yeah.
If you get it right with the other guys, like you should be able to get away with those kind of things. But like you don't need to split up Conchar and Aldama, but like that's something that I'm doing mostly. I do have one lineup with both of them in it. And you don't need to split up, like you don't need to play KJ Martin anymore. But if you do, I probably wouldn't play him with Eric Gordon. And I certainly wouldn't play him with Tari Eason.
Clarkson is shooting guard and point guard.
So just talking strategy wise, really quick, like just about what I'm doing, like playing the guys who don't project as well. Like for me, it's the spend ups that I'm using that are going to be low owned are Tatum and Markkanen, and I feel pretty good about using guys like that on this kind of a slate. Sort of the next tier guys, the not top level spends. And where I'm playing a guy like Markkanen, because I think Paul George is a better play individually than Markkanen is, I'll play Paul George with Markkanen, or I'll play Kawhi with Markkanen or something like that, and use them as my two top spend ups, then sort of middle it out the rest of the way. But if you want to play Luka and you want to play one other spend up, you're gonna have to do some uncomfortable things.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play those guys today. Let me see what I wonder if based on my projections, I wonder what I'm going to get if I just blindly throw it in. That's going to be interesting.
Let's see. You can bring it up and show the people.
You're going to do it right now.
Okay, let's do it. And Jimmy says he's having a good day in PGA using Horikawa. Good job, Jimmy. Way to go.
Using who? Using who?
He's talking about Hughes and Morikawa.
Oh, okay, good. He's having a better day than I am.
I didn't play the PGA.
Oh, look at Morikawa. Hi, how about that?
What did he do? Is he first?
Yeah, he's like -7. I think he's in first place. Good for him. Good for you. Long stretch though. 4 days of no cut golf with a lot of good players.
I know.
All right. What was I doing? Oh yeah. So there's one other thing I have to. This is like a little disclaimer. You have to basically probably default to Saber Sim's Jabari Smith projection because mine's just kind of wonky.
Yeah, Jabari Smith is going to project 5 to 6x basically anywhere you look.
Yeah, but forget to specify Jabari Smith or Jabari Smith Jr. You end up with 0 of him. So I have to fix that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I do want to mess around with more of the golf no cut things because it sort of suits my style of play. You know what I mean? Like I want a guy who can shoot plus 15 and be the last player in the field and still win.
Yeah.
Won the Olympic one.
I had a big one in that one.
Yeah. And it was literally the lowest player in the field because he shot 12 over on one hole.
Yeah. That's right.
It was our boy
one of the Lees.
Was that?
One of the Lees or one of the Kims.
I think it was Siwoo. Yeah, Siwoo Kim.
Yeah.
All right, guys, keep firing on any questions or thoughts.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this build.
We're going to see Sheets' what the builds give us.
Window. This one. How should we do we'll do the whole screen. No, we'll do this one. Okay. And this. All right. So first, I just want to make sure that I'm getting Jabari Smith in here. No, I have to reset. I have to put this in. All right. Okay. So let's build right now with. I guess I have no idea what I'm going to get. I really don't. Let's find out. Steven Adams, top owned. Grant Williams. See, this is what happens.
That actually makes some sense to me.
This is what happens when you want to play Luka. You know what I mean? This is what happens.
Yeah. What did you lock in Luka? Is that how did you do it?
No, I didn't do anything. I'm just saying.
Wow, Grant Williams, they really love, huh?
You get these Lukas, and and then you get 50% Tyus Jones. You know what I mean? You get all these 4Ks if you want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steven Adams on a back-to-back is a little annoying, by the way, at high ownership.
Yeah. Didn't play a ton of minutes last night. Has basically just absolutely been massacring the field every time. Like,
yeah. So the one thing here I see, and this is like one of the things I still think that they need to work on at Sabersim is these lineups I'm getting with both Jaren Jackson and Steven Adams. You know, I know it's a short slate and everything, but there's just.
Well, I think it's okay though. I mean, I don't think it's like the worst thing in the world because there's no Brandon Clark. Usually, like I'm just saying, like if you had to pick, try not to play them together. I don't think it's the worst thing to play them together.
I like Jaren Jackson a lot.
Yeah.
Boy, Grant Williams. So I would see what I would do. I don't know if I'm actually going to do this. I would literally downgrade Adams to only 50%.
Yep.
I definitely wouldn't want 63% of Grant Williams. But just for fun, you know, this is how you get stupid stuff like when I had like 1,000,000% of Josh Richardson, 1,000,000% of the other idiot the other day who did well. I mean, you get these plays like this, like Grant Williams, and I end up like 40% of them that might end up like being like 10 times leverage or something like that. God forbid he does well. I mean, you're really in business.
With which one? I'm sorry, Chief?
It's got like Grant Williams, you know, and just like you get like wildly overweight on something like that. That God forbid it works out on a short slate. I mean, you have access to a lot of combinations, you know.
Yeah, it's just weird with Williams. Like, yeah, I think Williams.
All the Williams lineups, those are the ones that get. I mean, that's where all the Luka lineups come from, like pretty much.
Oh, I get it, and that's probably what I end up doing in my what's his name builds, my KJ Martin builds. I probably end up throwing Grant Williams in there instead. It just feels weird to play like that. Then it would force me into playing Grant Williams, Robert Williams together, which is not the best, but it's not the worst, you know. And I'm sort of on the side of Bullock and just eating, just hoping the minutes work out in my favor. I'm
telling you, that was the discussion we had about that today made sense to me. I mean, on these Luka Jokic slates.
Yeah. And
let's make sure that we don't forget to play Jokic, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not playing him on DraftKings. I just can't justify it at too close a price to Luka.
Well, I mean, you could justify if it's a short slate and Luka just doesn't put up a ceiling. I mean, like.
But why would Jokic? Like, it's the worst situation Jokic has had in a while.
Oh, okay.
Just because they have all their guys. They mostly Murray or Porter or both have been out much of the year. So his numbers are slightly inflated due to that, but they're also, I mean, sure, he could put up the best score on the slate. On FanDuel, there's a bigger price gap between them, but I just decided to play both of them over there. And you don't really have to do anything even all that uncomfortable on FanDuel to get him in. It's just really, you know, Tyus Jones you play, maybe you play some Beasley, Grant Williams. What about how is Eric Gordon 4,800 on FanDuel? Like, what led to that? How did that get there?
What should he be? Like 3,000?
Well, 3,500 or 3,800 or something. Sort of what I was thinking, but I mean, it's okay. It's not the worst.
Yeah, so I'm feeling it from my hand built lineup from yesterday. So I'm gonna do a hand builder for the big buy-in in the NBA on DraftKings again. I'll let Sabersim handle the MMEs, and I'll stick with the hand built for the big one. And in the big one, by the way, that's where I have Paul George, pretty much.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not the end of the world if you have to swap from Paul George to Kawhi if Paul George is out. I mean, it's not what you want, but
yeah. I just want to remind people of something. Like Terrence Ross is not the same play that he was yesterday. They got 4 guys back. It's not like the same situation. So I love Terrence Ross. I was all over him I was on him yesterday. I was very into that. You have to have those Orlando guys in there, but I don't think it's nearly the play that it was tonight as it was last night.
Here, we'll do the same thing for
to answer Jimmy's question.
Yeah, I want to do the same thing for we'll do a build for FanDuel. Okay. Let me see. See, this is so KJ Martin. You have to change to Kenyon Martin. All right, let's see what a FanDuel. Who do you think would be the highest owned, just unadjusted, based on projections play on FanDuel? Luka? Dylan Brooks. Okay, let's see. It would be Wendell Carter, 92%.
Oh, Wendell Carter, of course. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Something about 92% anybody annoys
Especially
me.
on a back-to-back off of an injury where you get other guys back.
That's not going to happen.
Fishy about that.
They get the next highest owned is Tim Hardaway for me.
Whoa, what is his price over there?
I don't know. 58,600? It's not like he's 4,800 or anything.
Yeah, I guess that's okay. It's just
dude, I showed him being 25% owned. I mean, it's not like
pass.
Right?
This could be a good spot for Mo Bamba, by the way. Just because they have these other guys back, but they don't have the bigs, and no matter what, you're going to have some sort of a big on Memphis. Bamba's going to get minutes. You know what? I'm going to say F everything. I'm going to force in some Bamba.
Okay.
I think that makes me feel a little bit better.
For what it's worth, that's approved.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Like you've got Carter off of the injury. I can play him with Robert Williams and save all the money and play my Luka lineup, just makes a lot of sense. It fits in perfectly. It might force me into playing a guy I was just talking about fading, but there we go. Can play Olynyk or Vanderbilt here. Perfect. For now, it'll be Olynyk. Probably becomes Vanderbilt. Okay.
Meanwhile, I noticed that Tampa's got to be sitting all their guys, right? Atlanta's like a 6-point favorite now, I think.
I mean, the motivation to play your guys would be none. I have no idea what they would be thinking. More than like a quarter or two.
Right.
Kevin wants to know if you have any NHL takes.
Yep, I do. And that's coming right now. As soon as I'm
going to get out of here while you guys do that, probably.
Okay.
Or pretty soon I will.
I'm going to talk about that in just a second. What is this? Okay. Well, Thigala is doing well in the golf. That's what I got going in the golf. Okay. Well, let's have some fun. Why don't we share we are sharing my screen, right? So since I'm sharing my screen, let me share my NHL so you guys can take a look at what I'm looking at, and then I'll tell you that you don't do this exact same thing. Let's this is sort of what we did on the video, but let's take a look at it. So what I do again is I just literally I gaze at the rankings here, and what I try to do is just try to see where there's a cluster of dudes from the same team, because that's all hockey is correlation. So you do have this thing of Matthews being the best player, this total cheapo Bunting from the same line. So that becomes something really worth thinking about. But then you get these Jersey guys kind of all together, and I talked about this in the video as well. So you'd think it'd be something like either Jersey or Toronto, but then you also have these Washington cheapos that kind of get in there. So those are probably, if you were going to hand build, the way you should probably play is either play something like Toronto or Washington or New Jersey. But when it comes to MMEing, hey, I'll just do it right now. I'll let you know what it comes up with. And then again, it's just a little trick that I have. I mean, this is what I do. Like everybody just, I don't know what's right, but what I do is you'll start with, let's see, it doesn't matter how many lines you're playing, 20, let's say you're playing 20. Okay. So you play 20 lineups, same start. You put your projections in. First you make sure you're on the right sport. Hold on.
It's the important one.
Yeah, that's like, I think I had all these like MMA sounding names as I uploading it into my my hockey builds. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Hockey. This. Good. So let's actually, just for the sake of argument, we'll do. Let's do 150. Okay, just to illustrate. So again, what we've done is we put in just the true DFS projections, which are just kind of a combination of everybody else's that's been tweaked and massaged just a little bit. And then you get this main build of 150 lineups. And what I like to do before anything else is I look at the stack types, okay, and see how.
Good luck, guys. I'm going to bounce, but good luck.
And see how this is broken down, because I just don't believe that some of these stack types are just winning in these tournaments. So what I like to do is just X out some of these, like the 2-2s, I will X out. The 2-2-2-2s, I will X out. The zeros, obviously, I'll X out. The 3s, I will X out. And then 4 zeros, I'll X out. 3 2s, I'll X out, especially on these big slates. And even when I do that, like I don't know what it is, but SaberSim has this incredible love for these 4 2s, which I don't know if that's what you want to do here. So I usually find myself paring them down. I don't know if you have to. I mean, I don't know if that's particularly advisable, because I do trust the algorithms to come up with good high upside lineups, but to have so much of 4 2s just doesn't seem to make sense. So maybe I'll just pare this down to 20% of the 4 2s. Keep hitting apply. And then now at least 4 3s would be the top, at least type of stack that I have. And I'll go back and see if that changed anything. So this is where you get this Washington and Devil stuff, and then you get like these Arizonas in there as well, So I think, and just by doing that, by going from no screens to having less 4 2s and stuff like that, I think it's an interesting way to play. So Washington, Devils, Rangers, Colorado would be this build, right? But I think you could play some Toronto and make that work as well. So you like Sonny Milano for Washington revenge game against former team? Okay, sounds good to me. I have no idea who that is. I'm going to be totally honest with you. But Washington's certainly in there. Let's see if I have any of this. Who's he, Milano? Let's take a look. Let's go under players. Let's see how much of this Milano I have. No, I didn't get any of him. Is that a mistake? I mean, he's 3% owned. Dude, if you like that, that's like a perfect thing that you can do. If you like that for any reason, I'm getting all kinds of Washingtons and not him. So who am I to say that he doesn't, with the second line, get just as much as the first line? So I would play him if I were you. As a matter of fact, just for you, I'll give myself 10%. Just for fun. I mean, it really hates that I'm doing this, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right, so let's see what 10% Sonny Milano revenge does for us. And no, I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now, Kevin. I'm in. Listen, hockey's so so variant. Sonny Milano, Washington revenge game against former team. Okay. So now let's see. So now we have Milano. There it is, 16% Milano. Do I need 16%? Probably not. So I'll probably trim that a little bit. I didn't do any tennis tonight. Is it a short slate? I usually don't do it. I didn't even check. I presumed it was like eight games or something. Because they're at the 5. I didn't do sheets. I didn't do anything. I usually do like 30, but I'm not. I didn't even look. I didn't even look at the board. Do I have to do that? Yeah, I don't need this much. It's so much Washington. Wow. It's too late. Well, how many were there? How many matches were there? Today's slate started already? Oh, the 6 p.m. How many matches? We couldn't have been that many, right? It's like round of 16 already. I didn't even bother looking. Do I suck? Is it somehow a lot of matches? We're not playing 20% Milano, but let's play a couple lineups just to. Okay, that makes a little more sense. Yeah, I don't want to play 10 matches. That's too small. I mean, it's way too easy to get duped there. Yeah, so I guess this is okay. Milano. You know, I'll just manually do them when I get off. And I'm going to do that right now. So good luck, everybody. Hope your Milano gets you the hat trick. Hope you win your tennis if you played. And again, I'm not around. I'm not around much for the next several days, actually. I'll do my best to get projections up, but I'll be out for Sunday Live. I'll be out for tomorrow. I'll be out for. I'll be out for a while, but that'll do.